So if you're sitting there wondering what's taken so long for the squeeze to happen, I think you should see just how massive our enemy really is. Now, most of you probably already are aware that Citadel is the largest hedge fund complex in the world, but maybe what you didn't know is some of the close ties they have and just how much of a grip they have on the market share in the US markets. So we're going to take a deep dive into ETFs, but before then, we're going to take a look at Citadel's history and take a look at some of the privately owned funds they own and some of the ties they have to rule makers. So first, let's take a look at Citadel and Citadel Securities. Kenneth Griffin first founded Citadel back in the 80s, I believe, and Citadel Securities came about later on. Citadel is a Chicago-based firm. Now, Citadel trades 1/5 of U.S. equity options and ETF volume. Citadel Securities is the largest market maker in options in the U.S., executing about 25% of the U.S. listed equity options. So if you have Citadel Securities doing 25% and Citadel doing 1/5, you can see just how massive their market share really is. So on top of that, in 2019, there was a hiring spree conducted by Citadel. They hired a Goldman Sachs Group executive named Kelly Brennan, who led the bank's Americas-based ETF trading and sales business to help expand Citadel's ETF business. And that is exactly what they did. So in 2018, Citadel Securities starts really revving up their ETF game. As you're going to see later on, this is a critical part of their overall structure. Now, Citadel Securities also executes about 13% of U.S. consolidated volume in equities and 28% of U.S. retail equities volume. So every time retail makes an order, they get paid using payment for order flow. And according to the Wall Street Journal, 1/3 of stock orders from individual investors is completed through Citadel, which accounts for 10% of the firm's revenue. So just from orders alone, that makes up 10% of Citadel's revenue. So whenever Citadel Securities, if they do 100,000 trades, Citadel LLC gets paid for every single one of those transactions. And on top of that, 40% of Robinhood's revenue gets sent straight to Citadel Securities and to Sigma Securities as well. Now, this is interesting because this is a lot of what's going on right now. Over a 2-year period until September 2014, hundreds of thousands of large OTC orders were removed from its automated trading processes, rendering the orders inactive. Now, this is what's happening today. So now, when the orders are rendered inactive, and we've seen filings about this, they have to then be handled manually by human traders. And once that situation emerges, Citadel can then trade for its own account on the same side of the market that it would have satisfied the orders without immediately filing the inactive orders at the same or better prices. So while payment for order flow is, supposed to give us best execution, clearly that's not happening, and Citadel violates this rule all the time. So these are these are all of Citadel's privately owned funds. Now, what do you see here that's in common? They're all located in the Cayman Islands except 3. We have one that's located in China. We have 2 that are located in Colorado. So we have 15 private equity funds here. Now, you will be shocked at the amount of ETFs that each one of these different private owned funds owns. It's insane. And guess what? The QFIC Master Fund, guess who their key principal advisor is? That's right, Ben Bernanke, old Fed Reserve chair. So if you don't see just how entangled this web of lies is and how big this really is, it's insanity. So some close ties. Yeah, like I said, Citadel, like many other financial companies, has also cultivated high-level ties with its regulators. Former Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke is employed as a senior advisor, and he joined in 2015, by the way. And then we all know about Yellen and the speaking fees. So yeah, Citadel, they have protection, they have ties. How do we destroy them? We have to expose the truth. And again, what's coming up next in the next video is the massive trail of ETFs. It's a rabbit hole that I still haven't gotten out of. So bear with me. I hope this helped you realize just how big our enemy is. And yeah, we keep on moving along.